is when you're scheduling out, whether it's the year, the month, or the week, whatever it is, schedule out your personal time first. As long as it's not excessive, obviously. Whether it's vacations, weddings, anything along those lines. Family always comes first, and then you do your work surrounding that, because you're here for enjoyment, to enjoy your life, and working is to fund your perfect life, and the work fills in all those gaps. Again, as long as it's not excessive.
Big it up, big it up. Yeah. Hear in my face. Yeah. Here we go, go. Yeah. Here we go, go.
Welcome to Let's Talk Real with Mel. We are here with Alex and Gary Barron of the Barron team in Flushing, New York, out of Flushing, New York. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And now, you've been in real estate for a year or two, right?
A little bit more than a year or two. If you want to count back to 1988,
All right.
if you want to do the math.
Right.
Yeah.
Need some fingers and toes.
Yeah,
and
and stuff. Yep. And got to go over it maybe a second time around too.
All right.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a number of years. And so this is a family business of real estate, right?
Family business. I got to do it on my own back in 1988, right out of college. And I thought, obviously HGTV wasn't around back then. So I was like, you know what, everybody's making money. And in 1988, the market was a little up and down, going a little sideways. And didn't pay much attention to it. Got my license, got into it full speed, and failed.
Okay.
Failed
forward, though.
Fell forward, and I said, it's not going to be the get-rich-quick scheme, but like it looks like. And there's a 4-letter word that I had to do.
It starts with a W.
Work.
All right.
It was work. Work. And kept going and never gave up, just kept it going. And from the very beginning, the first thing I learned was I didn't want to work with buyers, just want to work with sellers.
Okay.
If you own a store, if you own a shoe store, you need inventory. And if you're working in real estate, you need inventory, you need something to sell. And that was the first thing I learned is you need to have inventory, you have the buyers, you have the shoes, people will come to you.
Never thought of it like that, comparing it with a regular brick and mortar, with a commodity like shoes. That if you don't have I guess you can have all the buyers of shoes you want, but if your shoe store doesn't have shoes in it, then it's going to be all right.
Exactly. And I just learned I'm sorry if I'm just rambling a little, but this is my passion. I've done this for such a long time. And just something I've always loved to do. And I love helping people. I love meeting people. I love having the quote-unquote flexibility of the time, which is not really as flexible as what it seems like from the outside. Again, it's not like HGTV. Go out on Saturday or Sunday.
The 4-hour work week?
No.
You haven't figured that one out?
No,
I'm still working on that.
That's a furthest from the truth.
I'm trying to get to a 40-hour work week. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Trying to get downgrade to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so are you from Flushing and originally born and raised in Flushing?
Originally from Forest Hills, which is not too far away from Flushing.
Okay.
Used to live at my parents' house, got married, bought a house, just a little fairy tale story.
Okay.
And I bounced from a couple of different real estate offices right now. I'm with Keller Williams.
Okay.
And absolutely unrecruitable. Love the office, love the vibe, and super happy there. My wife also got into the business about 12 years ago. Okay. She got her license just to help me out with the back-end paperwork and the admin stuff. And now we got this young man.
All right. Yeah. I'm working on it. Yeah. Fresh out of high school. I love it.
Yeah.
I was 18 when I got my license.
Really?
So,
wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
So what, so I'm going to shift to you. So so you've been, eating it, breathing it, living it since a baby.
So from the beginning, I was always curious what he was up to, what he was doing. And then I was like, what's a cold call? And I was asking if he's cold while he's calling.
Are you calling from the refrigerator? No. No.
So yeah, I was always into it. I was curious what he was doing. So my mom was pharmacist and he's
selling houses.
Yeah.
Right. It seemed like the schedule, like Dad, how are you home? At different times, where Mom, I guess, is when she leaves, there's a big gap before the time when she comes back.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas Dad is probably in, out, on appointments back. So
he took me to school a lot.
Yeah. One thing I'm very grateful for is you do have the flexibility of time, and something that was always scheduled into my day was dropping him off at school and picking him up at 3:00. And if there was a little show or a play or anything like that, knock on wood, I'm super, super grateful that I was able to make it to just about every single one of them because it was scheduled like an appointment. It's not changeable. It's not flexible. I got to be there for them because you only have this life once, and I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss one minute of it.
I love it.
And I'm grateful that we're able to work together. So far, anyway.
Yeah,
we're just starting out.
Until he fires you.
Yeah, I know.
Give him a couple of years. He'll be like,
I see it going in that
Dad,
direction.
you're not cutting the mustard.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring in someone else.
Yep, Dad, you gotta kick your numbers up.
Right. It's coming. It's coming.
I see it already. So that's even pre-licensed.
I love it. So you got the misses in it. You know, you've been in for 35 years ish, maybe a little more. And you said you went to school. So you went to school in New York?
I went to school in New York. I graduated with a degree in communication arts and science, which I never used.
Well, you're using it.
I'm using it, but everything's all changed. It's totally different, but it's still communication.
Wow.
And then I went back to school for a second time when the real estate business wasn't doing all that great because of me. I got a degree in accounting.
Okay. Definitely using that.
Nope, still not using that.
Really?
Yeah, no. Again, that's where my wife comes, and she's great with the checkbook, with the accounting and all the numbers, and she's absolutely awesome with that. And we've got a good blend. We have a good blend.
It takes a whole, as you see, growing the team, bringing the wife in, bringing the son in.
Everyone has their own.
Yeah, has their own place and to help make the wheels turn.
You're right.
Make the wheels turn. So where do you see the team growing in the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, I'll bring it to you, Gary, let's say when you're 5 years from now, you're 23 at that time, 23, 24, right. Where do you see the business? What's your vision for the family business?
I see us all working together, possibly in New York and Florida, having two businesses going at the same time, having more of an expansive team so you can delegate part of the work to other people that can do a better job than you.
Okay. Yeah, I think Gary's going to bring some new ideas to the table. Now, have you, in your 35 years, you brought the wife in 12 years ago, but had you considered or had you ever kind of either scaled up or scaled back, like hired administrative staff, or have you always been more of a solopreneur?
Mostly solopreneur. And I do have buyer's agents that work not directly for me, but trusted go-to partners within my office that would hand buyers off to or delegate certain amounts of work to, such as open houses and lead generation, things along those lines. And as far as expansion, I should mention this earlier, during the time of the pandemic when the world was shut down, instead of sitting on my hands and doing nothing and saying, oh my God, what's going to happen next? I want to be proactive, and something I always wanted to do was eventually, at some point, someday, move to Florida, to Southeast Florida, in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, in that area. So basically, while the world was shut down, I took online courses and I got my real estate broker's license in Florida.
Okay.
So I also have I'm also with KW in the Palm Beaches.
Okay. So we've got dual. All right. So we're New York license and Florida license. Okay. And so we want to expand. So Gary's plan is to expand both.
Right.
Ideally, keep both of them alive at the same time.
Yeah. So during the time, I know, we all know that, well, maybe not all of us know. I know that during the pandemic, it was very, 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 very challenging for real estate in New York, dog. Almost.
It was shut down.
Yeah.
It was shut down.
Yep. So, but what were some other times over your extensive career where you had, periods of challenge, either professional challenge or personal challenge, that and how did you push through that to continue to not give up, to stay in the business, to keep things going?
Well, really, there's really no other option. And when I say that, it is either you do this and be successful at it, just put your big boy pants on and get to work and really do it well, or go get a 9-to-5 job. And that was not really. I don't want to say that's not an option for me. I shouldn't say it that way. I really didn't want to do that. That was my working in real estate was my driving force to be able to do that and stay away from working a regular quote unquote 9-to-5 job. Because if I did that, that's a sure way to go. That's the safe way to go. But I wouldn't be able to drop them off to school. Wouldn't be able to pick them up. and couldn't go to his shows, couldn't be there for homework after school, things along those lines. And to me, that was devastating. I was like, I can't miss this. I can't miss this. You only got one run at this thing. I only have one son, no other kids. This is it. There's no second, third, or fourth one. I'll catch up to at some point down the road. And that was my driving force, that I got to be there for him. And not just, oh, dad's at work again, dad's at work, dad's at work. I made it fit into my schedule. Yeah, it's flexible, but that was
an anchor.
That was an anchor.
That's
not changing.
Yeah, your listing appointments get moved around, buyer appointments get moved around, showings, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
School starts at the same time every day.
Right, exactly.
And ends at the same time every day.
And I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I was never, and you can attest to that. I've never been late.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've dropped them off late a couple of times.
Right. But you never, but you still dropped them off.
Yeah.
You still
always dropped them off, and at the pickup, always are exactly on time and a few minutes early. He was never waiting by the sidewalk for, where's Dad? I don't know where he is.
Right. I know. Well, Dad's still no appointment. He'll be there.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, got to go and scheduled it accordingly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So family first.
Yeah.
So, you and I'll say that, in business, sometimes we sacrifice certain things and, we will, under the guise of, well, I have to do this for the family. But, this is a clear example where, the family was first. Nothing came in between that.
No.
You didn't miss plays, no games, no activities, no performances, graduation. You were there regardless.
Every soccer game, everything. Something I learned a long time ago from one of the many seminars that I've been to is when you're scheduling out, whether it's the year, the month, or the week, whatever it is, schedule out your personal time first. As long as it's not excessive, obviously. Whether it's vacations, weddings, anything along those lines. Family always comes first, and then you do your work surrounding that because you're here for enjoyment, to enjoy your life, and working is to fund your perfect life. And the work fills in all those gaps again, as long as it's not excessive. As long as you're out on vacation 51 weeks out of the year, there has to be a balance. But the family always comes first, no matter what.
Yeah, that's a good lesson, and then everything else fits in.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you, Gary's nodding and smiling, and he, he may or may not express it all the time, but I know that means a lot to admit.
It does for sure. I definitely saw a big difference between like him and then like other parents that aren't really
your friends' parents.
Yeah, my friends' parents that weren't really as close with them as he is. So
yeah, that's cool, right? Yeah, I'm sure there was some of that too. Keep him in line, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. So, and how did that, seeing the way that I guess, or feeling the way that you were raised, and Dad being a role model, how did that then in turn make you say, maybe I want to try this real estate stuff? Did that play a factor at all?
For sure. And I like the lifestyle that he's doing. He definitely works. I would think he works more than the average 9-to-5 person. You got to work more than 9 to 5 to not work 9 to 5. But you could choose those hours.
Yeah.
There's an old saying, in order not to work 9 to 5, you have to work more than 40 hours if you don't want to work 40 hours.
I like that.
So I think that really resonates with this business.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah. You have to be willing to work more than 40 hours in order to not work
40 hours for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So outside of real estate, so obviously, and you're just finishing school, so there are no more drop offs. I'm sure there haven't been drop off and pickup in a little while, but the activities probably are just now ending. The events, the things, and you'll have plenty more activities and events to come.
Right.
But what do you do outside of real estate? I mean, what do you both like to do for enjoyment?
I like to play tennis a lot.
Okay.
I'm really big on that. What do you like?
Cars. We're both into cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably drive a little faster than we should. We're trying to slow ourselves down.
Okay.
Recently, a couple of years ago, just bought a Jeep.
Okay.
Jeep Wrangler, got all jacked up with the big tires and the lift kit and all that. And it was always some sort of an accessory to get for it. So it's something to new and keep it fresh. And it also slows you down too. And I've had other cars in the past, and little faster than what they should be. So I think with the Jeep Wrangler, you can't go past a certain number.
Yeah, you can't. That's safe with the turns.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and so now going to then cars, tennis. So we got sports, and then working on cars, and then circling back to real estate. What about investments? I'm sure over the years being, 30 years in real estate, and we were talking about storage facilities and those investments. Have you been a big fan of maybe taking your real estate commissions and making it work for you in other ways outside of just the household?
As far as real estate, not as much as it should. Always been a very cautious investor, especially from my wife's side. She's very analytical and very super cautious. And as far as investing in real estate, no, not as much as we should. But we have done a lot of other stocks and financial type of investments.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and that's the key is taking them, because you can, we know you can earn a lot of money in real estate, but the key is to then what do you do with that?
Right.
Exactly. And putting it so that it can grow in other areas and not just sit. Because, inflation, money sitting isn't a thing.
Yep.
Really a good thing.
Yep.
All right. So where do you? So I'd like to hear from your perspective, Gary, this business of the future, because you're learning, you're growing, you're going to bring probably a whole different perspective that I would guess is going to be maybe a little more difficult for you, Dad, in terms of the way you've done business for 35 years, and maybe how business will be done for the next 35 years.
Well, that's what Gary's great for. Basically, the way I've done my business is just grinding, between door knocking, cold calling up and down the streets, calling expired listings for sale by owners, just old school, just picking up the phone, which I still plan on continuing to do. I don't think that is real, just the bread and butter, it just hasn't changed. I really don't believe it's changed. But this is the new future as far as social media, different ways of people connecting. And people don't pick up the phone as much as they used to. People don't open their door as much as they used to. They have the Ring doorbells, the video pops up. It's like, oh, who is that? I don't know. I'm not going to open the door. Whereas before you used to go knock on, let's say 50 doors, maybe 10, 12, 13 of them used to open up. So you have a little conversation with them. It's a yes or no. And it's all good either way, but you used to have that face-to-face connection. But with this technology now, again, just the whole pickup rate is substantially less. Caller ID, call screening, it's changing. It's changing, and you have to go along with that change. And if you don't, then you're just gonna be stuck where you're at.
Man, might be left behind.
And that's where he comes in.
All right, and he picks up. And then what are your ideas then? I know you've heard some ideas recently, and you guys, obviously believe in coaching and professional development. Where do you see real estate or your business, from a younger person perspective and what you already know about social media? How do you see that? How do you see that affecting your business, in the next 10, 20 years?
I think it's definitely going to have a big impact on it, but I think his thinking with the calling and all that stuff's still very necessary. But you could expand even further with the social media, reach a bigger audience, build a brand, and actually have like a lifestyle that you're showing people instead of just, I'm selling your house.
What?
If I just piggyback on this, it was a term that I learned a long time ago. When you're sitting in a chair, or whether it's a bar stool or a chair, whatever it might be, it has at least 3 legs, usually 4, and those are all different supports that keep you sitting and not falling down.
Yeah.
And as you take each one of those legs away, you're going to be that much less stable until you get down to the last 3. On the last 3, you're still stable. You pull one more away, the chair's going to topple over. Social media, I think, is just an additional leg to keep you stable and actually sitting in your chair.
Right.
Of course, you have the cold calling, the for sale by owners, expires, and whatnot. Those are just the ground roots. As things change, some of those legs are going to start getting pulled away, and you need to put another leg back in its place to keep yourself up and floating.
To keep it going.
Yeah.
So you envision kind of a combination of, we'll call it, old school traditional real estate,
Right.
and kind of the real estate of the future.
Definitely.
When you view them as kind of as equal or interdependent.
Yes.
I think it's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not one is maybe not better than the other, but you kind of have to do both.
Yeah, just another light, another stream, another source of business.
All right, good stuff. So if we could I know you talked about that ugly 4-letter word with the W, right? But was there, and you said that you couldn't, that failure was not an option, but there are likely some folks that are watching that may be thinking that maybe failure is an option for them. Then maybe they will, give up, quit, or maybe just do something different. What would you, and maybe they don't have a son to take, so maybe that might not be a job, but they still are they feel like they're close, but still aren't getting the results they need. What would you say to that person that maybe you can help them change their mind and stay in the race?
They really need to develop their why. Because if they're thinking about dropping out, that driving force is just not there. Their desire is not there. And honestly, I shouldn't say it this way, but not everybody's got it. Not everybody's trainable. Not everybody's coachable. Not everybody listens to a Melv. It's true. It's absolutely true. And you got to have that driving force, and you got to have that why. And I really took off in my business at the time that I got married. I've been married 25 years. And up until that point, I was, between my 35th, when I started 35 years ago, from 35 to the 25-year mark, when I got married, that's when I really took it seriously. I said, look, hey, I'm getting married here, buying a house, got a mortgage, eventually have a child, children, and it's time to put the big boy pants on. And it's time to get real with this thing. And I can't let my wife be the breadwinner. That's it's got to be at a minimum, it's got to be an equal partnership. And I just want to feel good about myself, just being supported by somebody else. That's not me.
Yeah.
And that's why I really took it seriously, and that's when my why really kicked in. And
it sounded like also too that's when the coaching kicked in, because you then had an accountability partner.
Yes.
So even though you weren't paid coaching, right? You didn't hire a coach. You wifed your coach, and
accountability.
Yeah, and she was holding you accountable, and she was bringing something to the table. You needed to bring something to the table, and that's, I think, where that failure is not an option kicked in even more.
Right. But it's more of an option when you have somebody supporting you. I used to live with mommy and daddy before I got,
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, I used to live with my parents. And my mom, God bless her, she's just turned 87 years old.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you. And she always said, oh, it's okay, don't worry, it's okay. It's, it's still a crutch. And didn't have that real driving, I did want to. Of course, I wanted to succeed, but not in the same way as once you get engaged and you're dating somebody seriously. It's like, this is the real deal. You got to make this happen. So that actually really kicked in. So that why has to be there. That why has to be there, and really set that attainable goal and push it a little bit further out. There's saying, shoot for the stars and settle for the moon. The moon is okay.
Right.
The moon is okay.
Got it.
So
I think also being able to take criticism is very important.
Constructive
A
criticism.
lot of people are just like, I don't like what you're saying, and just keep doing what they're doing and fail. You got to be able to listen to whoever's better than you and analyze their idea and see if it makes sense or not in your position.
Give it a fair assessment and be coachable.
Yeah. And as far as coaching too, any coaching company that you're with, obviously they want you to succeed. Because if you don't succeed, you're going to drop out of coaching and they're going to lose money.
Right.
And they're going to get badmouthed.
Yeah.
So I've been with other coaching programs now. I just signed up with the Tom Ferry coaching program. And my feeling is you're paying a substantial amount of money for it. And just blind faith. If they say jump, you say how high. That's what you got to do. They're not going to steer you wrong.
Yeah.
They'll make you feel uncomfortable because you're going to go into areas where you're not as comfortable as where you were before, but you can still get the same results if you don't follow what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's a part of growth, is being, you can't grow and be comfortable.
Right.
I mean, because otherwise, imagine if you were still wearing the same clothes that you had when you were 5. Mm-hmm. You would be uncomfortable.
It'd be a little tight.
Yeah, and you just never changed.
Yeah.
They would just, they'd be like Popeye, just busting out of the clothes, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, part of growth is being uncomfortable.
Yeah. The only thing constant in life is change.
That's right. All right. Well, I got a quote of the day. Let's see what we got. Quote of the day. A family business is a never-ending journey, one that is continually evolving. Just when you think you've got a handle on something, things change, and you have to adapt quickly and efficiently. Jeanette Gregson, CEO, All States Trailer Spares. Change. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Good stuff. Well, let me say, if I wanted to, if I was in the Flushing area, Queens area, and I wanted to maybe sell, I know you're focused on sellers. You largely over your career have helped families sell their homes. If I had a home that I wanted to sell in your area, or even maybe wanted to buy a home in your area, how would we reach you guys?
Well, my direct number is my cell phone is the best way to reach me. You can also call me on my office, but I'm usually not in the office.
Okay.
Best way to reach me is at 718-490-4523.
Okay. 4523. And Gary, what if should they hit you on Instagram? How would folks reach you if they want to? Or would it be probably not Facebook, but would it be your cell phone too?
I'm Facebook.
Yeah. What would be the best way to reach you?
For now, it would just be.
Oh, just go. Okay, got it. Then let's do it. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out. This is awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
No, this is awesome.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.